Welcome to the Money Watch Show. It's Tuesday, August 6th, and we are here trying to help you make better or maybe even just less bad financial decisions, or maybe you just need a little, like a pat on the back, a boost. You want to know whether your strategy is the right one for all the things that you want to do in your life. If that's you, then we'd love to help you out. Just go to our website, jillonmoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and you write a note. And if you want to join us on the air live, just check that box. And Mark does everything else. You know who Mark is? Mark is the co-host and the executive producer of this program. Mark, how are you?
Oh, I am well. First full week of August. Let's get this summer over.
Why you want it over so fast?
This has been hot. It's been a very from June. Okay, it's been a very hot and humid summer. I'm done. I'm ready to move on.
Oh my gosh, you're ready for winter already. Mark and I are the winter kind of people. We do like winter.
Summer has always been my least favorite season, so I'm ready for some cooler temps.
All right. I'm with you. I don't love spring. I think I've told you that many times. Spring is not my favorite. So, but I like the ocean, and I love going into the ocean. By the way, last weekend we're walking on the ocean, and the pups are kind of they just put their feet in basically. I looked up there in the Atlantic Ocean because of climate change. We see dolphins and a whale go by. That was freaking amazing. I loved it. And it's, you know what? You become transfixed. You just stare at it. It's just the whale is so big, and these aren't even the biggest whales, but they're huge, and you see them spout up. It's so awesome. I loved it. So Jackie's like, you don't want to go in the water now. Like, there's probably a lot of things going on. I'm like, oh no, I'm going in. I'm going right in now. Right now I'm in. Anyway, love to hear about your summer adventures, gang. So let us know how we can help you out. Right now, Mark, we have a mother-daughter who I have renamed Rhoda and Mary because they sound so cute together. It's like the Mary Tyler Moore Show. Rhoda is on the line from Massachusetts. Mary's on the line from New Jersey. So I'm going to bring Mary in first. Mary, you are the daughter, right?
Yes.
Okay. And Rhoda, hi, you're the mama.
I am.
Who's going to tell the story? Mary, you want to tell us the story of what's going on?
Sure. So my mom is 64, and she just received a gift of approximately $120,000 in cash from her very generous parent. She would like some advice about how to best put this money to work for her. She owns a home outright in a relatively low tax southern state, and she currently rents it out, so it is a source of income. And meanwhile, she's renting her apartment in Massachusetts. Okay. So with this cash gift, she's exploring the idea of building an additional structure on her property that would have a small apartment in it, and either renting that out in order to have rental income, or living in one of the two structures and renting out the other. So in order to have the new structure built, it would probably cost around $150,000, I think is the estimate she's gotten, and take about 4 to 5 months to build. It could potentially increase the value of her property, but of course, there's also an opportunity cost to using this money now, in addition to sort of the typical headaches that come along with managing a construction project, and that being a lot of work.
Would that be your work or her work?
Well, I think it would be mom's work, but okay. My mom is the most kind and generous person I know. So I would love to do what I can to help her make the best decisions here. And so I reached out to you both to kind of ask, is this a good plan to generate rental income going forward? Or is there a better way to use this money in a way that would allow her to generate income in the coming years, so she could work less or retire?
Okay, so Rhoda, age 64, you're still working?
I am. I work part-time.
That's amazing.
Yes.
How much do you earn working part-time?
I am making $34,000 working part-time.
And you have the income from the property. Is there any other income besides that income from the property and your part-time income?
Just my rent and the work income.
How much do you get the rent? And how much is that? What is that every month about?
Less expenses. I would say I'm clearing about 15,000 a year.
Okay.
So with my work income and my rent income, it's about 49,000.
How is that for you? Is that enough? Is that not enough? Like, how is that amount of money for you?
Well, I live very conservatively.
Okay.
And I actually have a roommate, so my living expenses are split in half. I would like to better my lifestyle.
Sure.
And that's what I'm working towards.
So do you think in the future, is your idea that you would want to move down to where the income property is?
What I'm thinking of, I have family that lives there. I have two sisters that live in the area of where my house is. So what I would do is move back as the construction is underway. Because I feel like I need to be present while that's being done.
Sure.
And I would be staying with a sister, so I wouldn't have a rental expense while the house is being constructed. And then I would like to move into it until I'm able to collect Social Security.
Okay.
At 66 and 10 months.
So at 66 and 10 months, what will the Social Security benefit be?
An additional $1,700 I would be getting in Social Security benefit each month.
Let me ask a couple of other questions. Right now, forgetting about the 120 that you were just gifted, how much money do you have that you have saved, either in a retirement account or in a bank or in an investment account? So let's start with first, do you have any retirement account, an IRA, a 401k, anything like that?
I do. I have an IRA that's at $29,000. I also have an investment account that the current value right now is $190,000.
Okay. And how is that invested? Stock funds, mutual funds, exchange trade, like individual? How is that invested?
So Rhoda has a financial advisor who's been managing it. It's invested relatively conservatively. I'm not sure exactly. Okay. I think mostly a mix of things, but I guess another sort of question that we can table for later is, is there a better way to be investing that money, or how would you recommend she invest it moving forward?
Okay, so 29 in an IRA, 190 in the investment account. Now, and what about in the bank? Just like sort of boring money, Rhoda. What do you have in the bank?
Just about $4,000.
Okay. And the rental property, how much is it worth right now?
The home value is at like $360,000, and that's being conservative.
Okay. And there's no mortgage, as you said. You came in, you said no mortgage. Okay. If you could move into, would you be inclined to actually just move into that rental property eventually and be near your two sisters without the other unit, but just as that rental property exists today? Is that something that's interesting to you?
Temporarily.
Oh, why only temporarily?
Because my desire is to move closer to the ocean.
So I just want to make sure I understand the facts. So right now, you would like eventually to move to this area where your two sisters live, and you would like eventually to have some residence there, but not the rental property you currently own, something else, right?
Yes.
Okay. And could you buy something else for what amount of money? Give me the amount of money, for you to be in like the spot that you want to be. Like, I want to be here. This is what it'll cost me to live, to the place you really want to live long term, like from 70 to 95 or 100. Like, tell me where you want to live it out.
Would you want the flexibility to sort of just, rent and sort of go from place to place?
Yes, I want to know that too.
Well, that's ideally why I'm considering this idea of having additional income at the property that I own, is because there's a very low tax rate where I own the home. So the thing is, if I could build another structure and get additional rental income and combine that with the home, then use that to rent where I really want to be.
The taxes are the taxes regardless, like forgetting about the rental property. I mean, to think about it one way is to say you have a $360,000 investment on which you are generating a net of $15,000 a year. Mark, would you say that's a good return or a not good return? Or how would you rate that return?
It's okay. It's not great.
It's okay. Like, it's all right. It's okay, but it's not great, says Mark. I agree with that. Also, I have 360 grand in equity that is tied up in this property. So here's something else to consider. I think we need to kind of rank what is important for you right now. And I'll tell you why. Because even if you generated more money, if we had 360,000, right, plus this 120, and we added it to your $190,000 investment account, now we've got quite a bit of money that could be generating income for you.
Okay.
And that is something I think we should consider. And I'll tell you why. Because when you're in a situation like you are, which is, hey, you don't spend a lot of money, but you don't have a ton. We only know that, if you can, are you going to plan to work part-time for how long? Like what's the game plan? Because that's also a factor here.
I have no problem with working.
Yeah.
I don't sit still very easily.
How would you do with working until you were 70? How would you feel about that?
I could definitely see that.
You could?
Yes. Yes.
How would you feel if you were able to delay your Social Security until age 70? You probably get more closer to like 20. I don't know. Have you looked at that number, your Social Security benefit at age 70?
Yeah, let me see if I could.
Because I'm going to talk to Mary for a second. Mary, is the rental property idea something that you're a little worried about? I sense that in your voice.
I wouldn't say I'm worried about it. I would just say, I could see it being a stressful process to manage. And, I've done my own construction projects in my own home and they've gone over budget, right?
Mm-hmm,
and taken longer than expected. So those are kind of my worries for Mom. And I think, Jill, I've read both of your books. They're fabulous. And, I'm to the extent her money and her assets could be used in a better way that would generate, better rates of return, why not consider it? So
yeah. Because I'm kind of trying to figure out like how much money we have tied up in this equity in this rental property, plus this new money coming, plus this money, you have like 600 and let's just call it, you have 670, but I'm going to just pretend it's just 600,000. I'll tell you why, because I kind of want you to have like a bigger slush fund right now. You have like your bank account of 4,000. I kind of want there to be more like 75 grand in there. That's 2 years of your expenses probably. If you had $600,000, right? And we were able to generate, I don't know, $1,500 a month or 18 grand a year from that. I think that's kind of I think that's doable. And then you have your money available to you and you can do what you want. I guess the real question is like what it would cost you to rent where you want to be. And do you want to have two rentals, like one in Massachusetts and one down in this area? Or are you going full time in the cheap state area?
Full time.
Okay. So, Rhoda, this might make you nuts, but what we are essentially suggesting is for you to take a breath before you start doing any construction and think about this. What I would rather you do is before you do anything is to find out how much it would cost you to rent in a place where you would like to be full time. Okay? Do you have an idea of that number now or do you have no idea yet?
I would say for about $2,200 a month, I could get a 2-bedroom apartment.
And that would be nice for you.
That would be nice because I love to entertain. So I like the idea of having a second bedroom.
So right now, what are you paying in rent in Massachusetts? Your share of it?
My share is just under $1,000.
So we would be increasing your expenses by $1,200 a month, but you aren't willing to work, so that would be a good thing.
Yes.
I'm leaning towards doing a little bit more work on the making sure that you would want to live someplace. And I am more interested in potentially thinking about selling your rental property. Or, by the way, one thing you can do, just so you know this, is that if you live there for 2 years full time, you don't have to. I'm just saying you can avoid having any capital gains when you sell the property. So that's something to keep in mind. But
Okay.
I'm inclined to think about, first of all, being down there for a full year and seeing if you like it. Are you sure you're going to be there for happy full time?
I believe so. It would be a whole new beginning for me, but I'm a real people person. I've done this before where I uproot and go
God bless
and
you.
make it work.
Yeah. I mean, Mary, do you feel like our idea is like we want to preserve a little bit more of the optionality of having this $700,000 that is available and useful in generating income, and also it starts to enhance mom's flexibility in terms of access to her money. And that's one of the things that I think as we get older is people give short shrift to that. So what you're kind of thinking about when you first put this in front of us was, I have $360,000 in a rental property. I could put another 120 or 150 in, right? Which, by the way, means I got 500 grand that's tied up in real estate. Right. And yes, it might create income, but I don't have that money. That makes me, as like someone on the side, a little bit anxious. And I would be interested in having somebody look at this with you and talk to you about how you might be able to manage the money, the $670,000, of which I'm going to make you put more money in safe stuff, and have it generate some income for you. It doesn't mean you have to buy an annuity product. So we're going to talk about the financial advisor in a second, but it does mean that we have to really think about driving money to Rhoda so she can afford her lifestyle. Because it sounds to me like you really need to live on like $4,000 a month. If I were going into my new 22, 4 or 5 grand a month. Have you ever tracked how much money you actually, I mean, it's going to be hard to figure it out, Rhoda, until you get down there. But, if you had 4 or 5 grand a month and 22, half of that would be basically your rent and the other half would be able to be spent on stuff. Do you think you could live on that?
Yes.
Okay. So then we keep doing the part-time income for as long as you can. I would just keep doing it. You claim Social Security at 70. You get the money, and I think this kind of starts to work. I do want to talk a little bit about the financial advisor, but Mark, do you want to weigh in on this? How are you feeling about the let's get liquid and be a renter?
Oh, no, I'm on board with you, especially, at this stage of life, you just never know what's going to come up as we get older. You want to have that money that you can get your hands on. I don't want everything tied up in real estate. No way.
I'm a little nervous about that. So next question is, who manages a relationship with a financial advisor? Rhoda, are you in touch with this person?
I am.
You like this person? No one knows. Don't worry. You're not going to insult anybody.
Yes and no.
Tell me about the yes part.
Well, I guess because I've developed a relationship with him that it's a comfort level, but it's not like we're in touch with each other that often or.
So this guy is not doing like full blown financial planning for you. This guy is okay. So what we really need to do for you guys is run some numbers, and we need a real financial planner to do that. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to hook you up with somebody. I don't do this for everybody, but for Rhoda and Mary, consider me your Phyllis. Mark, do you know what we're talking about at all? Did you watch Mary Tyler Moore or not?
Oh, yes.
All right. What about Mark? Do you know Mary Tyler Moore or not? I could be Lou
Yes,
Grant easily.
It was on in the household when I was much younger. Yes.
Oh, yeah, I know I hate you right now. Do you
In
know
diapers?
yeah, exactly. He's like, oh, my mother watched this with my grandparents. So, by the way, one of my favorite quotes from Mary Tyler Moore is Lou Grant. I think it's from the pilot. And Lou Grant says to Mary, Lou Grant's her boss, Mark. And he says, Mary, you have spunk. And then he waits a beat and he goes, I hate spunk. So that could be me. So here's what I'm going to suggest. I love that you guys came on the air together. I think you need a real plan on this. And I think you need to talk to somebody about how to manage this process. And I think the person you need to talk to is somebody who is a financial planner who has a fiduciary responsibility, means has to put you first. So if that person says, yeah, you know what, let's take $100,000 right now. Let's do an immediate annuity. This is why it makes sense. Like, I'm okay with that as long as it's a fiduciary. I don't want it to be some, insurance salesperson who's just selling product. And the person I'm going to refer you to is a fiduciary, straight arrow, nice guy. So I think you'll like him. But I think that the question of should I be building something is kind of a hard no. I think the idea is like we're going the opposite way, which is should I take this money that's inside of that the equity in the rental property, should I take that money, sell the property, take that money, add it to the 120, add it to the 190, and then live my life in the place where I want to live? That's the question I want to ask and want to test. So before we let you go, Rhoda, do you have your estate documents in place?
Yes.
Mary, have we addressed what the issues that you wanted to be addressed here?
Yeah, I think so. Mom, this could give you a chance to really have some more freedom and more fun,
I love fun, especially with
I'm all
somebody
about fun.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm all about fun for you, and I'm all about flexibility for you. That's going to be flexibility is the word I think that we're really thinking about. And if you are seeking help from a financial advisor, the number one thing I want you all to be thinking about is this person a fiduciary? So if they have a CFP designation, they're a fiduciary. If they have a CFA designation, they're a fiduciary. If they're a CPA with a designation called a PFS, that is a fiduciary, someone who has to put your interests first. You can go to letsmakeaplan.org. You can go to the National Association of Personal Financial Advisors, or NAPFA.org. There's lots of resources. You can give us a holler and say like, hey, you helped Mary and Rhoda. Can you please help me? Get in touch with us. Go to JillOnMoney.com. Click the Contact Us button. Let us know what is going on. Don't forget to sign up for the free weekly newsletter and check out the Jill on Money live subscription service. We are distributed by Paramount Global. We drop our episodes every Tuesday and Thursday. If you wouldn't mind, please leave us a rating and review wherever you listen. And of course, try to lift someone up. Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thank you for listening. We'll talk to you on Thursday.
Paramount Podcasts.